morning, afternoon, and evening. Guys, I would like to share 3 lies which is restored to truth. 2 is restored in Revelation, and the other one with a recent documentary concerning the shape of the earth. In today's life, our world is run by lies, manipulation, and half-truths, sugar-coated lies. In school, we are taught that the place where we live is a ball, and that this ball is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. And in a recent documentary released about 3 days ago, scientists from 2 research facilities have proven that what we are taught at school is lies. I will share the link to this documentary at the end of this post, as this post is aimed at restoring the truth regarding God and sharing how the enemy has successfully manipulated people into following man instead of God. And just as the enemy manipulated the shape of the place we live on, he has also manipulated people with the lies and half-truths in the Bible. When you read the Bible, especially the New Testament, it is obvious that the New Testament supports Jesus to be God, which is wrong. And that said, know that Christianity, as we know it today, is not the teachings of Jesus and not inspired by God. But it is the manipulated truth and lies of the enemy that has been trying to shift focus off God and placing it on man. But like any truth out there, it will always come to light and destroy the lies created by the enemy. More and more churches today are starting to teach that Jesus is God, and making not only Jesus to be a liar, but making people to worship a father likeness, and therefore breaking the second commandment of God. Now people, there is truth within the Bible, and only through guidance from God can one truly understand which is truth and which is lies. I like the book of Revelation for one reason, and that reason is because not only once but twice John was reminded to keep focus on God and not the messengers that brought him the revelation. And that said, let's have a look at where in Revelation truth is restored. To be a Christian, a person has to believe that Jesus did not have a father as a man, but rather that his mother fell pregnant without even being with a man. And the truth is found in Revelation. Let's have a look at the verse in Revelation, and then I will explain how this verse supports the fact that Jesus did have a man as a father. Revelation 22 verse 16. I, Jesus, have sent mine angels to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. We all know that David was a man, right? Now for Jesus to say that he is the root and the offspring of David means that he is a descendant of David, meaning his DNA is that of David. What is DNA? DNA is found within our blood. It is a map of our heritage. When a woman becomes pregnant, the baby receives DNA from the mother and the father. Now, for Jesus here to claim that he is of the bloodline of David means that his DNA would have consisted of those of David. And people, we are talking about the DNA of Jesus, which is a physical blood reality. In other words, if today we had to test the blood of Jesus, it would have been those of Mary, his mother, and those of David, as the verse claims that he was of the bloodline of David. Mary herself was not in the bloodline of David. So for Jesus to only be connected to Mary's DNA would not have given us DNA where we would have found traces of the DNA of David, according to the Christian belief. It is said that Joseph was not the father to Jesus, but that he adopted Jesus. And people, when a person adopts a child, the child may become part of the family name. But when it comes to the DNA within that child's blood, it does not change the DNA. Will be that of the mother and the father. So for Mary not being within the bloodline of David, And Jesus not having Joseph as his father would most definitely not have made Jesus to be of the bloodline of David. So when we look at this verse in Revelation where Jesus claims to be of the bloodline of David, it proves to us that Jesus did have a man as a father, and this man had to be of the bloodline of David, as the mother of Jesus was never in the bloodline of David. So here in Revelation, the lie of Jesus not having a man as a father is exposed by this one verse. Let us have a look at another lie which is exposed within Revelation. And guys, this is very important, because lies are being exposed. So let's have a look at another verse. It is Revelation 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God. For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. This verse is actually one of the verses where John is reminded not to focus on the messengers of God, but rather to keep focus on God. But the reason I am sharing this verse is not because of this. In this verse, the false teachings of the church today that teach that Jesus is God is exposed and restored in this verse, as this verse clearly states who Jesus is. Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. God guides us, and Jesus is supposed to give us a prophecy if a person would be guided by Jesus. The verse explains itself. Just as the author of Revelation, John, is receiving this prophecy, this verse confirms that the prophecy comes from Jesus, as Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. People need to wake up, and they need to return focus to God. Jesus guided people to God, and Jesus never took any glory for himself. But the enemy has manipulated everything and have turned everything upside down, where in today's world the church is guiding people to Jesus instead of God. And as I said in the beginning of the post, Christianity is not the teachings of Jesus, and Christianity was created after the death of Jesus. And Paul actually taught the opposite of what Jesus taught. Where Jesus taught that we should keep the commandments of God, Paul actually broke the second commandment of God when he was referring to the Spirit that was guiding him to be the image of the invisible God. Colossians 15, verse 15, 1:15. Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature? I pray that God starts to touch those who God knows are true and within the truth. I have shared two verses in Revelation, one that exposes the very lie that Christianity is built on, and the second restoring who Jesus is. The lie will keep us in bondage, where the truth will set us free. Just as it is hard to accept the fact that we have been lied and taught to be truth, handed down from generation to generation, it is up to us to restore the truth and to return our and our children's focus back onto God and not man. I truly hope all reading this would not just make it to be a lie that I have shared, but rather look into what I have shared, because truth needs to be restored, as also recorded. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. Here is a link to the documentary that exposes the lie about the shape of our earth. Enjoy, and remember, the lie keeps us in bondage, where the truth sets us free. God, all of your truth, all in your will. So let it be. And guys, I want to share one small thing as well, which is very important, and we should always remember this. Okay. Call no man or woman your God upon the earth, for one is your God, which is in heaven. God, all of your truth, all in your will. So let it be. Let your truth be restored, and let us focus on God and God alone.